Yo, it's your boy Flygerian Jeff with alldayplay.fm. We outside. I mean, where I see DJ culture now, honestly, is like, I think more DJs are reverting back to, well, they don't know they're doing this, some of them don't, but they're reverting back to like the 80s when the DJ was the reason you came to the party. Not because someone booked him, but because he has the sound system. He's the one that's putting on the show. He's the one that's the promoter. He's the one that's actually orchestrating or curating the entire culture, that entire vibe. On some like DJ quick shit or something. I think it's good. I think it's good for the scene because it kind of gives people more of a intentional reason on why they go, as opposed to like just being out to be out. Don't get me wrong. Before I even like got into like just, you know, the because we were all novice, we were all like casual music listeners. Everybody starts off as that way, and then as you get older and you start wanting to go out and you start getting more comfortable with going out, your needs kind of like grow, and then you want different needs. You have different needs out of going out. So I think like what ends up happening is that now people are like, oh, I know this DJ for what he or she plays. And I listen to what he or she plays, whether it be Selection or whether it be Uncle Waffles or whether it be like any DJ that you're really, really like accustomed to listening to. And then you come with an expectation that they're gonna give you that same vibe. So that's the intentionality of like, oh, I'm gonna go, or you're telling your friends like, oh, let's go to this event. And you have that expectation, as opposed to before where, yes, we still had that idea of like, oh, we know that this DJ is gonna kill it in this way, but it was a little bit of talent overshadowing the branding. Now there's a humongous implementation of talent associated with the branding. How does this person's name make you feel? Kind of like you got Prince, very talented person. He probably could push out an album in like a month or less, but his branding is raw. Like everywhere's purple. You see his logo everywhere. You know what I mean? DJs are turning out to do that for the nightlife scene, in my opinion. United Tribes of Africa is an event curation brand. I'm basically bringing everyone into like my universe. With the name United Tribes of Africa, it's a play on the United States of America, unifying the fact that I'm not gonna be too, I'm not gonna only acknowledge one area, because as a Nigerian, it's really easy to get Niger-centered, you know what I mean? That's what I like to call it, to where we're only celebrating Nigerian Independence Day, we're only doing things towards Nigeria, and because we have like such a booming hand on the music industry right now, it's easy to, don't get me wrong, I can have like a set where I really only play like a couple Kenyan songs, or I didn't really play anything outside of like the spectrum or scope, you know, of Nigerian music. But essentially the brand was to kind of acknowledge all of those areas, right? And it is mainly to bring people who are not African into Afrobeats. When they hear United Tribes of Africa, they're like, oh, this is only for Africans, by Africans, gridlock, Wakanda, no one can enter, no one can leave. Nah, it's for African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, anything that is that considers themselves out of the scope. People of color in general, Latin, white, whatever you identify yourself as, to get a gateway, almost like a gateway drug into just the whole international music scene. So United Tribes of Africa is about all Africans, but it's for the diaspora, because we already know what we're listening to. So it's to educate people. What I see now compared to before, like as far as how the implementation of like just Afrobeats or just African music is involved in like today's events, today's parties, today's culture, is it went from in the halls, meaning like you ran out a hall, you have an event, for like a wedding. Like it's always been around, but it's been on an underground level, very underground level. And it wasn't like a nightlife where just going out to the club level type of level. Like, you know what I mean? People were all in cahoots. It was very family oriented. Like that's so-and-so's cousin. This is kind of like my auntie, that level. And then it moved into lounges, right? Small like lounges. Like it's always been around. You got air lounges to play a little bit of coupe de Calais, which is more of like a French Congolese style of music, right? Congolese music was the music at that time. When Tupac, you know, Digital Underground, that was what mainly was what Africans were listening to amongst other genres, but dancehall, reggae, coupe de Calais, right? Then moving up into like the 2010s and beyond, you get more of like the bands, you get P Square. Now you're getting more Afrobeats, but it's not really coined that yet, but it's still Afrobeats in its whole entirety, right? Then you get the WizKids, then you get the Davido. You get a whole bunch of these people that were already like kind of like forming into something, but by the time Davido and WizKid got in, it wasn't like super popular, but it already had sponsorship energy to where we're already listening to that, you know what I mean? Now, as far as like picking up into, let's speed up into like something like 2016 or 2017, you got Drake collaborating with WizKid, which people will argue this, but that really did a real number on the availability of a song that had that temperament. I'll give you a little quick story. I had a friend that was in the club once, Harlot, and he was willing to pay $100 just for like DJ Geo to play controller. You know what I'm saying? That's where we were at that time, here on this side. Everywhere else, they're already playing it. Atlanta, New York, you know, Maryland, they're already up on it, but here in the real like top clubs, you weren't really like getting it that much. So now, with, you know, COVID happening and everything and people getting more of a time to like really listen to it, and you have like, you know, these songs that came out that really did a number that gave us that like, oh, there might be something there. We can now hear it on a more normalized level. Maybe not blended in, but a normalized level. You know, there'll be little hiccups. Like I remember I was at like a party in Atlanta and DJ was like, hey, yo, man, shout out all my Jamaicans. We got all my Jamaicans in the building, man. Make some motherfucking noise, da 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 da. And he starts playing like Yeah by Burna Boy. And I'm just like what? You know, but still, it's the thought that counts. You know what I'm saying? As far as just like, we're starting to be more educated on the differences and the different variables. So I'll say what changed from then and now is how educated we are on the differences, how more up on it we are, how exposed as a humongous internet high school to African music in general. For me, when I started UTA in general, I was, you know, I don't know if people are really hip to like, you know, horoscopes and all that, but it's something called a Saturn return, right? From like 26 to 32, you're supposed to go through like this tremendous like life-changing era in your life where it's like pretty shitty, right? I was super depressed. But it wasn't like depression that I'm wearing on my sleeve, like where I'm like not getting, well, sometimes when I wake up, I'm not getting out of bed. You know, you're sleeping longer, you're just kind of like a slop, just like whatever. But I'm functioning, you know what I mean? I'm partying, I'm chilling with friends, I'm laughing or whatnot, but I'm really like going through this like pivotal fork in the road, like what do I want to do? Who am I? What is happening all around me, and what does that mean for the future? What does that mean for the present? What does that mean to my past, right? And I'm heavily, I'm born and raised off hip hop. You know what I mean? Like music is it's really like a lot of what kind of like shapes a lot of us, right? So at the time, you know, when you're going through that kind of situation, everything that seemed to be your medicine sort of can be your poison in a way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, smoking a lot of weed, drinking, and as much as it feels great at the time, that later, that swinging hangover, you know, comes into play. And at this time, I'm not a DJ, right? But one day I came home, you know what I'm saying? I'm listening, you know, T Grizzly was hot, it just came out, you know what I mean? I'm listening to like 21 Savage as well, you know, Dirty Sprite was doing numbers, you know what I mean? These are great songs, you know what I mean? I think I first got my introduction to Brent Fires. I'm naming you all of the like, they feel good, but if you're feeling bad in that kind of realm, it's kind of not good. You know what I mean? It's not like giving you nothing. So then one day, I'm on YouTube. I don't know what happened to my algorithm at the time, but Mr. Easy come on, and it's a song called Leg Over, and I started listening to that. I'm like, damn, this is a vibe. I feel good. I think I want to go and cook something right now. I think I want to go and, you know, I started feeling great. And then I started like going back into the songs that I already knew based off of my affiliation being Nigerian. I started going back to all the other records, all the other songs. I just started listening to Afrobeats a lot. I started listening to it a lot. I started like going to Afrobeat events that are happening, because I'm not the first person in the Bay Area, right? But I started going to, you know, certain areas and listening to Afrobeats. And within that, I started thinking like, damn, I'm a hip hop head, but if I like this and I could get with this sound, maybe my partners would like this, you know what I mean? Maybe these girls might like this. Maybe these, you know, people that I know mess with all of the trap music that I like, because I'm not down in it. See, people think when you choose one that you got to down the other. Like, I'm not down in any. I don't care how toxic it is. Like, I'm like, if a beat slap, it slap. But I like this, so let me get into this. Let me get more into what I already have in me. So I started like trying to, you know, put together, you know, those kind of events in that direction. So it brought me out of that depressive state, because it was already filled with just different vibes that didn't make me think about whether it's okay to be in this toxic state, because the others were kind of normalizing it. So that's kind of what got me into Afrobeats in general, or made me kind of like delve more into it at the time. You know, it's weird. Like, I'll like a party based on what I'm not sure it's gonna give. It's crazy. It's crazy. If I feel like I can predict kind of what it's gonna give, it just does something to the romance of it to me. You know what I mean? I feel like familiarity sometimes kills romance. So like when I think of like, I think the funnest party, and I might be biased because I'm Nigerian, or biased because I like to be out of town, because I don't see myself really partying where I'm from super hard, like meaning like with no inhibition, just like, hey, nobody knows me, I'm turning up. But Obi's house was really fun, like Obi's house for real, like in Lagos, Nigeria, like on a Monday night. And I had a particular I had a little bit of a relation to the party, because I started my party on a Wednesday, and it was No Wahala Wednesdays. And he has his on a Monday, and it's Obi's house on a Monday night. And it's just a repetitive weekly thing. And I know what that grind feels like. That means you had to have like 2 months of maybe nobody coming in, right? Not saying like he had to deal with that, but it's the thing. So I respected it tremendously, you know what I mean? And going in there and seeing different DJs and just the energy and just the vibe and everyone just being on the same page, really dope. I like that. And then as far as the US is concerned, I definitely think you got Everyday People does really good with their vibe. I like the branding on sold out dates. I really like how they, this is new school vibe. I really like how they take it there. This one other brand, it might be based out of Dallas, but the brand is called Colors, and they do like this Afro rave vibe down there. I really like it. It's It's really cool, for sure. So my favorite would probably be, for sure, Obi's House, as far as like, for what it's doing and what it's representing and just the different kind of artists that come through there. Yeah, and I don't know what to expect because out there they'll play whatever. You really don't know what to expect with that. And Everyday People is pretty dope, yeah. Man, you know what's really crazy? A lot of DJs inspired me for sure. And that's why I have a little bit of empathy for a lot of people say, oh, everybody's trying to be a DJ now. That shit is not easy to have more than 12 friends that are DJs. That's not easy. Like, I can't emphasize that. And it's not about like, because I think people need to really understand the difference between jealousy and envy. It's a very big difference. You know, sometimes we use them synonymously, but jealousy is like, you know, I want what this person has and I don't want them to have it. To me, that's jealousy. Envy is like, I want this. I also want them to have it, but I want to do this. I want to be able to like control the future and the past and the present. You know what I mean? Being able to be in this time machine of music. So I would say like, you know, you got, who was I around a lot at the time? I was like, you got Shabazz, I was around a lot. Geo, DJ Fuse, amazing DJ. Sharp, Oxcord at the time, Dage tremendously, and I liked Dage's like appeal to his environment. You almost forget that it's about the DJ. It's just his appeal to the environment. You know what I mean? So I like what he did off the court as well as on the court. And then you have who else? Oh, then you have Juan G, very great DJ as well, because I like the way that he can blend a song, and at the time it felt like the songs were just one song. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't know the music, he had a very like westernized way of communicating. Kind of like if you're gonna learn Spanish, right? You wanna learn Spanish from someone that speaks English really well. You feel what I'm saying? So that was also a great impact or influence on like my respect for DJing. And yeah, man, I just had a lot of DJ friends. So I think like my empathy for the people that are learning how to DJ now is because a lot of DJs are taking their own narrative on social media. They're giving you that insight. So you end up accidentally having a lot of DJ friends if you had no DJ friends. So it gives you that like window into what DJing kind of feels like and what it's about, or what that inside joke is, compared to like actually back in the day where you had to know DJs. Because DJs are really nerds for real. Like DJs are supposed to be traditionally like music nerds, music heads. They know stuff by date. They'll be like, what? House music was created in Chicago in 1986, or like, that's a DJ. You know what I'm saying? A music connoisseur. But now, because the archetype kind of changes, and it's a lot of people who may not be that geeky about it, that are still into music in that way or want to take a stab at it, it kind of gives you that impression that they're not, but they are just no different than a tech bro who really goes crazy about code. You know, that's a DJ for real. So, yeah, the lines are blurred. But yeah, I looked up to everybody for real. So that's my answer, if that makes any sense. Oh man, I love this question. Sometimes it's the intro, because not all songs, and this is my opinion, not all songs are meant to be blended. Some songs just need to be dropped from the beginning. You know what I mean? Nicki Minaj, For Life. You get out of the last song, especially if you're transitioning from one genre to another, and then you press that do 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 do, that intro gets in there. You know what I mean? Or when Joanna was popping at its peak, you hear doom, 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 doom. You don't automatically, the knees start moving and you're ready to get into it, right? But that's for that pace, right? For that pace, like 106 BPM to 90 to 106 BPM. But when it comes to like a little bit faster, it'll be just that's the speed and how fast, like, as things go slower, I'm looking for like, what is that sound that I can play when the energy is high, the alcohol is flowing, people are vibing? What's gonna be a fast-paced song? So for me, I'm looking for the fast drums. I'm looking for the energy from the person who's, spitting on it. I'm looking for all of these kind of like active energy. But then there are some songs that do have this church chorus sing-along vibe to it for Afrobeats. And I don't know if Ashake kind of like brought us into that kind of like a chorusy song, you know what I mean? Because if it's like a lot of the songs that I do like are the songs that I feel like have a nice bridge that can be sang. Because people who don't know how to sing like to sing long. Yeah, 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 yo. Yeah, yo, yeah, yo, yeah, yeah. So that's something that the common person is gonna be singing. But the little short singing, like, you know what I mean? Like rap singing, not so much, but I definitely go for songs that have that chorus that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this is gonna go crazy. I'll break this, but I'm gonna make sure I get this in rotation. I'm gonna grow them into this, and they're gonna like that. I don't know, it's a thing, it's a feeling. It's a mixture of beat, to answer your question, it's a mixture of BPM, it's a mixture of the bridge. Is it digestible? Is it a sing-along vibe? Yeah, I'd say that. It has a nice chorus, nice pace, and it has a great drop on it, great intro. So how it's produced musically and how it's written and the speed of the song. These three elements can really make a banger, but it varies depending on who's listening, because some songs can be a banger for Western world and some songs can be a banger for, in Africa in general. Yo, it's your boy Flygerian Jeff. I'm gonna be playing Afrobeats. I'm a piano. Objectively, the set is supposed to feel like you know what's up based on the kind of sound you're hearing. So you're gonna know it's up when I get a little fast. You're gonna know if I want you to chill out, it gets a little slow. You're gonna know based on the gaps, if it's something you gotta listen to, you gotta be patient. It's gonna be an up and down pattern, but it's supposed to basically like take you somewhere. I suggest maybe you take some mushrooms. Take some mushrooms maybe, smoke a little bit, or if you're sober, just vibe out. Either way it goes, it's gonna give you like a nice up and down pace. So it's gonna, for the ones that know, they know, for the ones that don't know, it's gonna be a little mix of two different kind of vibes. One to make one big vibe. United tries the Africa vibes, you know what I mean? Yo, it's your boy Flygerian Jeff with ADP.FM. We live.